Selena Royce's steely gaze traps a corrupt empire in her storm-lit mansion. Vengeance unleashed. Don't miss her fight, subscribe, and hit the bell for our latest revelations. The heavy oak doors burst open and Raymond Beckett, the city's police chief, stormed in, his uniform soaked, his face a mask of rage, his voice a thunderclap that rivaled the storm. "You treacherous bitch," he roared, his boots slamming muddy trails across the marble floor of Selena Royce's lavish mansion, where rain battered the towering windows. A relentless assault that shook the crystal chandeliers. Selena stood poised at the parlor's heart, her black sequined gown shimmering like a blade in the lightning's flash, a cigarette glowing between her fingers, its smoke weaving a ghostly veil. Her eyes, dark and impenetrable, locked onto Beckett's fury with a chilling calm, her silence a sharper weapon than his venom, absorbing his tirade traitor, scum, disgrace as if they were raindrops on stone. She exhaled slowly, the smoke curling, her mind spiraling into a vortex of memories that cut deeper than his words. A decade ago, she was an undercover cop, her badge a fragile shield under Beckett's iron grip, navigating the city's criminal underbelly drug dens, mob safe houses on his orders. His special missions were poison plant evidence, silence informants, protect the syndicate, a cabal of corrupt cops and elites who bled the city dry. She saw the night it all collapsed, her frame for stealing drugs, her badge stripped as Beckett's cold smirk seared her soul. Worse was Malik, her younger brother, his laughter and law school dreams extinguished in a cell, his suicide a lie to cover his murder after he uncovered Beckett's fake badge network, a secret that cost him everything. That grief, a fire in her chest, had forged Selena's transformation from broken cop to a queen of vengeance, her empire of wealth and power built to crush the man now screaming in her parlor. Beckett's voice grew rabid, his fists pounding the air, his face crimson. "You think this gaudy cage makes you untouchable? Royce, you're a blight, a nobody who'll burn for defying me." Selena crushed her cigarette in a crystal ashtray, the clink a gunshot in the storm's roar, her lips curling into a predatory smile. She glided toward him, her heels clicking like a metronome of doom, her presence a tempest. "You're not defying anyone, Raymond," she said, her voice low, lethal, slicing through his bluster like a knife. "You're already caught." She flung a leather folder onto the mahogany table, its pages spilling into the flickering light, surveillance photos of Beckett with masked men, bank records of syndicate bribes, encrypted orders to bury murders, all stamped with his name. Beckett froze, his eyes bulging, his breath a ragged gasp as he saw his own face, his signatures, his empire of lies laid bare. "You've been hunted," Selena said, her words a guillotine. "Every bribe, every body, for 10 years. His hand twitched toward his gun, but a sudden crash outside a drone slicing through the storm halted him, its mechanical hum a harbinger. Selena's smile sharpened. She'd orchestrated this night. Her mansion a fortress wired by Nia Wells, her hacker ally, whose drones filmed every second from the shadows. Beckett's voice cracked, his bravado shattering. "This is fake. No one will trust a disgraced cop." Selena's laugh was ice, a predator's edge, as she pulled a hidden recorder from her gown, playing back his venom, "Bitch. Traitor now a noose around his neck. They'll trust you," she said, her tone iron. He lunged, his fist swinging. But Selena's reflexes, forged in the crucible of undercover work, snapped into action. She sidestepped, seized his arm, and twisted, forcing him to his knees with a choked cry. "Kneel," she commanded, her strength a revelation, her grip unrelenting. Outside, 5 officers, Beckett's loyal enforcers, knelt in the mud, their confessions coerced by Selena's unseen network, their faces captured by Nia's lenses under the storm's wrath. Beckett's eyes flicked to the windows, panic flooding his features, his radio crackling with a desperate report. Media vans, drones, They're everywhere, Selena's voice dropped, raw with pain, her composure cracking for a moment. You took Malik, she said, her eyes blazing, tears held back by sheer will. You broke me, but I rebuilt stronger. Now you fall. Her phone buzzed Naya's signal. The footage was live, the trap sealed, but then a flicker in Beckett's eyes, a sly grin as he whispered, You think I came alone? The words chilled her, a hint of a larger ambush, but Selena's resolve was steel. She released him, stepping back, her gown catching the lightning's glow like armor. Run if you dare, she said, but the world's watching. The storm howled, a symphony of her vengeance, as Beckett staggered, his empire crumbling. Selena's heart thundered, Malik's memory ablaze in her soul, the folder her sword. This was her spark, a fire to burn the syndicate to ash, and as the drones hummed, she braced for the fight she knew was coming. Glass shattered somewhere in the mansion, a jarring crash that cut through the storm's relentless roar. As Raymond Beckett's eyes widened, his panicked gaze darting to the windows where lightning revealed 5 shadowy figures moving outside. He clutched the leather folder Selena Royce had flung at him, its damning pages photos, bribes, murder orders still trembling in his hands. But his sly grin from moments ago had vanished, replaced by a dawning horror. You think you've won, he hissed, his voice cracking, as he yanked his radio from his belt, barking. Now take her down. Selena stood unflinching, her black sequined gown a shimmering defiance in the parlor's dim light, her lips curling into a cold smile as the heavy oak doors rattled under a barrage of boots. She'd anticipated this, planned for it, her mansion a labyrinth of traps woven by years of vengeance. Her mind flashed to Malik, her brother, his life stolen by Beckett's syndicate, the memory of fire that steadied her pulse. The door splintered inward, and 5 officers, Beckett's loyal enforcers, burst in, their guns drawn, faces twisted with loyalty and fear. On your knees, Royce one shouted, his voice drowned by thunder. But Selena's laugh was sharper, a blade in the chaos. You're late, she said, her voice ice, as she snapped her fingers, a signal that unleashed hell. From the shadows behind curtains, beneath staircases, within hidden panels, 20 mercenaries emerged, her private security force, clad in black tactical gear, their rifles trained with lethal precision. The officers froze, outmatched, as Selena's guards swarmed, disarming them in seconds. Their movements a choreographed storm. One officer fired, the bullet grazing a chandelier, sending crystals crashing. But a mercenary's baton cracked his wrist, his gun clattering. Another lunged at Selena, but she sidestepped, her undercover reflexes a blur, her heel slamming his knee, dropping him with a scream. Within moments, the 5 were pinned, their faces pressed to the marble, cuffs snapping on wrists as Beckett staggered back, his radio slipping from his grasp. Selena scooped it up, her smile venomous, and plucked his phone from his pocket, her fingers deft. You brought the audience, she said, her voice low. So let's give them a show. She activated his phone's live stream, the syndicate's own app betraying him, broadcasting to thousands as Naya Wells, her hacker ally, amplified the feed to every major platform. The screen lit up with comments, shock, rage, demands for justice as Selena held the phone, her face a mask of control. This is Raymond Beckett, she said, her voice steady, commanding. The man who runs the syndicate, who kills to keep power. She tossed the folder's contents into view photos, records, Malik's death certificate, each page a nail in Beckett's coffin. His officers, now kneeling outside in the mud, their confessions already recorded, appeared on secondary feeds. Naya's drones capturing their broken faces through the rain. Beckett lunged for the phone, his face purple, but a mercenary's rifle butt to his shoulder dropped him, his groan echoing in the live stream. Tell them, Selena demanded, her voice cutting through the storm. Tell them about Malik, about the fake badges, about the blood on your hands. Beckett's eyes darted. Trapped. His voice a rasp. You're dead for this. Royce, he spat. But the weight of the cameras, the world watching, broke him. It was business, he muttered. Malik was collateral. The syndicate needed control. The admission, raw and unscripted, sent the live stream viral. Hashtags like how to expose the syndicate and #justice for Malik flooding the internet. Selena's heart clenched. Malik's name a wound, but she held her ground. Her vengeance a beacon. Outside, media vans screeched into the drive, their lights piercing the storm, drawn by Naya's leaks. Beckett's radio crackled with panic. FBI unwrote. His allies scattering, but Selena's mercenaries kept the officers pinned, their loyalty to her forged by years of shared scars. She stepped closer to Beckett, the phone still filming, her voice a whisper for him alone. You took my brother, my life, but I took your empire. The storm's fury matched her own, lightning illuminating the kneeling officers, their heads bowed in defeat. Selena's mind raced, the live stream a spark that would ignite the city, but Beckett's earlier words, I didn't come alone, gnawed at her, a hint of a larger trap. She glanced at her lead mercenary, a scarred woman named Tara, who nodded, signaling the mansion's perimeter was secure. But Selena knew the syndicate's reach, its shadows deeper than one man. She ended the live stream with a final shot of Beckett's face, his fear a trophy, and handed the phone to Tara. Her orders crisp, get this to Naya, now. The parlor was a battlefield, broken glass and toppled furniture, a testament to her victory. But Selena's pulse didn't slow. Malik's memory burned, a vow to finish what she'd started. As the storm raged on, a mirror to the chaos she'd unleashed. A deafening explosion rocked the west wing of Selena Royce's mansion, flames erupting into the stormy night as sirens wailed, their shrieks battling the rain's relentless assault, while media vans screeched into the muddy drive, their headlights cutting through the downpour like vengeful spirits, illuminating the chaos that followed Selena's viral livestream, a broadcast that had shattered Raymond Beckett's empire with his own confession, Malik's murder, the syndicate's crimes now viewed by millions, trending globally with hashtags like #expose the syndicate and #justice for Malik. And inside the parlor, where broken glass glittered on marble and chandeliers swayed from the earlier skirmish, Beckett slumped against a wall, his face drained of color, his uniform a tattered mockery, his hands cuffed as FBI agents swarmed, their badges flashing, their voices barking orders, led by Agent Vasquez, a wiry woman whose cuffs snapped onto Beckett's wrists with a clang. His sputtered protests drowned by the weight of Selena's evidence, a leather folder of photos, bribes, and murder orders that had left him reeling. But Selena, standing tall in her torn black sequined gown, her arms singed from the fight, her eyes blazing with unyielding fire, felt no relief, her heart pounding with Malik's memory, a vow unbroken. And Beckett's earlier threat, I didn't come alone, echoed in her mind, a splinter of dread as she handed Beckett's phone, still buzzing with notifications, to Tara, her lead mercenary, a scarred woman whose nod was a silent oath, and Selena's voice was sharp. Keep the feed live. Let the world see. As Tara relayed orders to the 20 mercenaries guarding the 5 kneeling officers outside, their confessions looping on Naya Wells's drone feeds, each word a dagger in the syndicate's heart, and the storm raged, a mirror to Selena's fury. But the FBI's arrival, signaled by Nia's leaks, marked a turning point, though Selena's instincts, honed from years undercover, screamed of danger. And as agents dragged Beckett toward the door, his eyes locked onto hers, venomous, spitting. You'll burn. Royce, but her smile was ice, her whisper cutting. You first. And outside, media cameras flashed like a second storm, reporters shouting questions, their lenses ravenous for the fall of a titan, while Naya's voice crackled through Selena's earpiece. Urgent. 10 million views. Selena. But I'm picking up chatter, someone's coming for you. Stay sharp. And Selena's jaw tightened, her gaze sweeping the parlor, sensing the syndicate's shadow, and she slipped the folder into her gown, her shield, signaling Tara to secure the perimeter. The mercenaries fanning out, their boots crunching glass, as the media's roar grew, but Selena retreated to a side room, its monitors glowing with Naya's network, where the hacker, a wiry woman with dreadlocks and a laptop humming like a weapon, looked up, her eyes sharp, saying, "You've lit a fuse." Royce, but Jace Carter, Beckett's lieutenant, is off-grid, gunning for you. And Selena's mind flashed to Carter, a cold-eyed officer whose loyalty to Beckett was a chain, and Naya's screen showed grainy footage of him in an alley near the mansion, armed and purposeful. "He's close," Naya warned, and Selena's hand brushed the knife beneath her gown, her undercover days teaching her to trust steel, and she ordered, "Lock the mansion. No one in or out." But another explosion shook the estate, flames roaring in the West Wing, the blast Carter's calling card, and Selena sprinted toward the breach, Naya's warnings trailing, her gown tearing as she navigated burning corridors, smoke choking the air, and Carter's voice cut through, mocking. "Thought you'd win." Royce's silhouette emerging, pistol in one hand, Molotov cocktail in the other, 3 armed men flanking him, and Selena dove behind a shattered pillar, her knife flashing, assessing 4 against 1, odds she'd faced before. And she taunted, "You're the syndicate's last dog." Carter, drawing his laugh, his shot grazing the pillar, sparks flying, and he snarled, "You're their last mistake," as he hurled the Molotov, flames surging, but Selena rolled, dodging, hurling a shard of glass that caught one man's hand, his gun clattering, and Carter charged, his pistol firing, but Selena's knife sliced his arm, blood spraying, his roar echoing, and his men closed in, but Tara's voice crackled, "We're through." And mercenaries stormed the wing, their gunfire a symphony, dropping Carter's men, and Selena tackled Carter, her strength fueled by Malik's memory, pinning him as flames licked closer, her blade at his throat, demanding, "Who sent you?" And his eyes gleamed, defiant. "The syndicate's bigger than Beckett. You'll see." But Tara's team cuffed him, dragging him out as the fire consumed the wing, Selena escaping with burns on her arms, her resolve unbroken, and outside, the rain doused the flames, media capturing Carter's arrest as FBI agents swarmed, Vasquez coordinating with Naya's feeds, and Selena stood in the mud, her gown ruined, her eyes scanning the chaos reporters, drones, protesters chanting Malik's name, and Naya joined her, laptop in hand, warning. Carter's men were a diversion. Something bigger's coming, and Selena nodded, her burns stinging, her mind on Malik's smile, her vow to end the syndicate, the live stream a revolution. But Carter's words a shadow, and she clutched the folder, her torch, ready to burn their empire to ash, no matter the cost. Smoke curled from the smoldering ruins of the mansion's west wing, its charred skeleton glowing under the storm's dying embers. As Selena Royce stood in the rain-soaked drive, her torn gown clinging to her burned arms, her eyes scanning the chaos of flashing cameras, FBI vans, and protesters chanting Malik's name, their voices a rising tide that drowned the sirens, and her heart thundered, not with triumph, but with the weight of Jace Carter's final words, "The syndicate's bigger than Beckett," a warning that gnawed at her, a shadow deeper than the night, and she clutched the leather folder, its pages of bribes and murders her only shield, as Naya Wells, her hacker ally, emerged from the crowd, her laptop glowing, her dreadlocks dripping, her voice urgent. "Selena, the live stream's at 20 million views." But Carter's men mentioned a data hub, a warehouse where the syndicate keeps its dirtiest secrets. and Selena's mind raced, her undercover instincts flaring. Knowing the folder was just the surface, a spark, and the real fire lay in the syndicate's heart. And she nodded, her burns stinging, her voice steel. Find it. Naya, now as Tara, her lead mercenary, approached, her rifle slung, reporting. Carter's in FBI custody, but his radio was active, someone's listening. And Selena's gaze hardened, sensing a trap. But Malik's memory, his laugh, his stolen dreams, pushed her forward, and she ordered Tara to rally the team, their black tactical gear blending into the storm as they secured the mansion's perimeter. And Selena slipped into a side room, its monitors flickering with Naya's feeds, the hacker's fingers a blur, pulling up a map pinpointing a warehouse in the city's industrial district. It's heavily guarded, Naya warned, but there's a USB there, encrypted, with names, dates, kills everything the syndicate buried. And Selena's pulse surged, her knife still strapped beneath her gown, her resolve ablaze, and she said, "We hit it tonight." Ignoring Naya's protest, "It's too soon, you're hurt." But Selena's eyes burned. They took Malik. They don't get another day. And within hours, under the storm's cover, she led Tara's team to the warehouse, a hulking fortress of rust and steel, its guards patrolling with military precision, and Selena crouched in the shadows, her burns throbbing, her gown swapped for tactical gear, her knife gleaming, as Tara's team disabled the outer cameras, their silencers whispering, and they breached the side door, the air inside thick with dust and menace. But a spotlight snapped on, and Jace Carter's voice boomed. "You're predictable, Royce." His silhouette atop a catwalk, free from custody, a pistol in hand, his grin venomous, revealing he'd escaped FBI transport, a syndicate mole at work, and 10 armed men fanned out below, their guns trained, and Selena's team scattered, gunfire erupting, bullets ricocheting off crates, and she dove behind a stack of servers, her knife useless against this arsenal. But her mind was a weapon, and she spotted a power box, signaling Tara, who fired a precise shot, plunging the warehouse into darkness. And Selena moved, her undercover reflexes a blur, tackling one gunman, her elbow cracking his jaw, his gun hers, and she fired, dropping 2 more, their bodies thudding. But Carter's laugh echoed, "You can't stop us." And he hurled a grenade, the blast shaking the floor, shrapnel grazing Selena's leg, blood soaking her gear, and she gritted her teeth, crawling to the server room, where the USB glowed in a locked case, and she smashed it open, pocketing the drive as Carter's men closed in, their flashlights slicing the dark. And Tara's team fought back, their gunfire a shield. But Selena was cornered, Carter's boots approaching, his pistol aimed. "You are done, Royce." But she rolled, firing her stolen gun, the bullet clipping his shoulder, his scream of victory, and she sprinted, the USB her prize, as Tara's team cleared a path, their rifles blazing, and they escaped into the storm. The warehouse burning behind them, Carter's curses fading. And back at a safe house, a dingy apartment Naya had secured, Selena plugged the USB into Nia's laptop, its files a labyrinth of syndicate crimes politicians, judges, CEOs, murders tied to Malik's case. And Naya's eyes widened. "This is dynamite. But they'll hunt you for it." And Selena nodded, her leg bandaged, her burns screaming, but her resolve iron. And she uploaded a teaser of the USB's contents to Naya's network, the live stream reigniting, millions watching as the syndicate's names flashed, the city erupting anew, protests choking downtown, and media vans tracked Selena's trail, their reports fueling the fire. But Naya's screen pinged a syndicate hit order, Selena's face on it, and Tara's voice crackled. "They're closing in," as headlights pierced the safe house windows. And Selena gripped her knife, Malik's memory a torch, knowing the syndicate's hunters were coming. But she was no prey. her evidence a weapon to shatter their empire. And as the storm's last echoes faded, she braced for the war, ready to burn their shadows to nothing. Smoke curled from the smoldering ruins of the mansion's west wing, its charred skeleton glowing under the storm's dying embers. As Selena Royce stood in the rain-soaked drive, her torn gown clinging to her burned arms, her eyes scanning the chaos of flashing cameras, FBI vans, and protesters chanting Malik's name, their voices a rising tide that drowned the sirens, and her heart thundered, not with triumph but with the weight of Jace Carter's final words. The syndicate's bigger than Beckett, a warning that gnawed at her, a shadow deeper than the night, and she clutched the leather folder, its pages of bribes and murders her only shield, as Nia Wells, her hacker ally, emerged from the crowd, her laptop glowing, her dreadlocks dripping, her voice urgent. Selena, the live stream's at 20 million views, but Carter's men mentioned a data hub, a warehouse where the syndicate keeps its dirtiest secrets, and Selena's mind raced, her undercover instincts flaring. Knowing the folder was just the surface, a spark, and the real fire lay in the syndicate's heart. And she nodded, her burns stinging, her voice steel. Find it. Nia, now. As Tara, her lead mercenary, approached, her rifle slung, reporting. Carter's in FBI custody, but his radio was active, someone's listening, and Selena's gaze hardened, sensing a trap. But Malik's memory, his laugh, his stolen dreams, pushed her forward, and she ordered Tara to rally the team, their black tactical gear blending into the storm as they secured the mansion's perimeter. And Selena slipped into a side room, its monitors flickering with Nia's feeds, the hacker's fingers a blur, pulling up a map pinpointing a warehouse in the city's industrial district. It's heavily guarded, Nia warned, but there's a USB there, encrypted, with names, dates, kills everything the syndicate buried. And Selena's pulse surged, her knife still strapped beneath her gown, her resolve a blade, and she said, We hit it tonight. Ignoring Nia's protest, it's too soon, you're hurt. But Selena's eyes burned. They took Malik. They don't get another day. And within hours, under the storm's cover, she led Tara's team to the warehouse, a hulking fortress of rust and steel, its guards patrolling with military precision, and Selena crouched in the shadows, her burns throbbing, her gown swapped for tactical gear, her knife gleaming, as Tara's team disabled the outer cameras, their silencers whispering, and they breached the side door, the air inside thick with dust and menace. But a spotlight snapped on, and Jace Carter's voice boomed, You're predictable, Royce. His silhouette atop a catwalk, free from custody, a pistol in hand, his grin venomous, revealing he'd escaped FBI transport, a syndicate mole at work, and 10 armed men fanned out below, their guns trained, and Selena's team scattered, gunfire erupting, bullets ricocheting off crates, and she dove behind a stack of servers, her knife useless against this arsenal. But her mind was a weapon, and she spotted a power box, signaling Tara, who fired a precise shot, plunging the warehouse into darkness. And Selena moved, her undercover reflexes a blur, tackling one gunman, her elbow cracking his jaw, his gun hers, and she fired, dropping 2 more, their bodies thudding. But Carter's laugh echoed, You can't stop us. And he hurled a grenade, the blast shaking the floor, shrapnel grazing Selena's leg, blood soaking her gear, and she gritted her teeth, crawling to the server room, where the USB glowed in a locked case, and she smashed it open, pocketing the drive as Carter's men closed in, their flashlights slicing the dark, and Tara's team fought back, their gunfire a shield. But Selena was cornered, Carter's boots approaching, his pistol aimed. You're done. Royce, but she rolled, firing her stolen gun, the bullet clipping his shoulder, his scream of victory, and she sprinted, the USB her prize. As Tara's team cleared a path, their rifles blazing, and they escaped into the storm. The warehouse burning behind them, Carter's curses fading, and back at a safe house, a dingy apartment Nia had secured, Selena plugged the USB into Naya's laptop. Its files a labyrinth of syndicate crimes, politicians, judges, CEOs, murders tied to Malik's case, and Naya's eyes widen. This is dynamite. But they'll hunt you for it. And Selena nodded, her leg bandaged, her burns screaming, but her resolve iron. And she uploaded a teaser of the USB's contents to Naya's network. The live stream reigniting, millions watching as the syndicate's names flashed, the city erupting anew, protests choking downtown, and media vans tracked Selena's trail, their reports fueling the fire. But Naya's screen pinged a syndicate hit order, Selena's face on it, and Tara's voice crackled. They're closing in. As headlights pierced the safe house windows, and Selena gripped her knife, Malik's memory a torch, knowing the syndicate's hunters were coming. But she was no prey. Her evidence a weapon to shatter their empire. And as the storm's last echoes faded, she braced for the war, ready to burn their shadows to nothings. A gunshot shattered the safe house's grimy window, its cracks swallowed by the city's restless hum as Selena Royce dove behind a rusted table, her blood-soaked leg throbbing from the warehouse fight, the USB drive burning a hole in her pocket, its encrypted files names, murders, the syndicate's elite now a beacon drawing killers to her door. And outside, the night pulsed with chaos, protesters flooding downtown, their chants for Malik's justice shaking the streets after her second live stream. A bombshell that had flashed syndicate names across millions of screens, exposing senators, CEOs, and a governor tied to the murders, the city teetering on the edge of revolt. And Selena's burns stung, her tactical gear chafing, but her eyes blazed, Malik's memory a fire that drowned the pain. And Naya Wells, her hacker ally, crouched beside her, laptop glowing, her dreadlocks swinging as she typed, her voice a hiss. They're hacking my feeds. Selena, the syndicate's got pros. And 3 hitmen are in the building. And Selena's knife gleamed in her hand, her undercover reflexes coiled, her mind racing as Tara, her lead mercenary, barked through the earpiece. Perimeters breached, 6 more outside, heavy weapons, and Selena's heart surged. The safe house, a crumbling apartment, now a death trap. But surrender wasn't her language, and she whispered, Nia, push the live stream. All of it, as Naya uploaded the USB's full contents. Names like Governor Harlan Voss and Judge Evelyn Crane blazing across the feed. The internet exploding. Hashtags like #syndicate exposed and #Malik Royce trending worldwide. And Selena kicked the table, barricading the door as boots thundered up the stairs, her stolen pistol from the warehouse cocked. And Naya's screen pinged, a syndicate kill order flashing Selena's face, her burns, her defiance. And Tara's team, 10 mercenaries strong, took positions, their rifles ready, but a grenade blasted the hallway, smoke choking the air. And Selena fired through the haze, her shot dropping a hitman, his body thudding, but another lunged, his blade slashing her arm, blood spraying, and she twisted, her knife sinking into his side, his scream of victory. But the third hitman, a hulking figure in a mask, tackled her, his fist cracking her ribs, pain blinding, and she gasped, Malik's smile flashing in her mind, giving her strength, and she headbutted him, blood streaming from her nose, her pistol firing point blank, his body collapsing. And Tara's team stormed in, their gunfire mowing down the outer squad. But Selena staggered, her vision blurring, her wounds leg, arm, ribs screaming. And Naya dragged her to a corner, her laptop still streaming, the world watching as Selena's blood pooled, and Tara's voice cut through. We're clear, but more are coming. And Selena's breath hitched, her hand clutching the USB, its data now public. The governor's resignation trending, protests turning violent, City Hall besieged. And Naya's eyes widened. Selena, there's a shadow figure. Someone above Voss, Crane, even Beckett, pulling strings. And Selena's mind snapped to a name in the USB Councilman Edgar Holt, a silent power, his donations tied to every syndicate hit. And she rasped, "Find him," as Naya hacked, her fingers a blur, pulling Holt's encrypted emails, orders to silence Selena. And Tara's team secured the safe house, their rifles sweeping, but headlights flashed outside, syndicate reinforcements arriving, their SUVs screeching, and Selena forced herself up, her wounds a furnace, her pistol shaking, and she snarled, "No one leaves," as Tara's mercenaries opened fire, bullets tearing through the night, and Selena stumbled to a window, her blood smearing the glass, the live stream still rolling, millions seeing her defiance, her pain, and Naya's voice broke. "FBI's inbound, but Holt's gone dark. He's the key." And Selena's eyes burned. Malik's death a vow, the USB her torch, and she fired into the SUVs. Her shots precise despite the agony, dropping a driver, the vehicle crashing, and Tara's team pushed back the attackers, their gunfire a shield, but Selena's legs buckled, her blood loss critical, and Naya caught her, screaming, "Stay with me," as FBI sirens wailed, agents storming the safe house, their shouts drowning the gunfire, and Selena's vision faded, the USB slipping from her hand, but Naya grabbed it, uploading the last files, Holt's name flashing, the city erupting, and Selena's lips moved, a whisper, for Malik, as darkness closed in, her fight ablaze that wouldn't die, and outside, protesters roared, media cameras flashing, the syndicate's empire cracking. But Holt's shadow loomed, a phantom Selena would hunt, her wounds a price, her resolve a weapon to burn their world to ash. A Molotov cocktail arced through the night, its fiery tail igniting the asphalt outside the syndicate's hidden fortress. A sleek skyscraper masquerading as a financial firm, as Selena Royce crouched in an alley, her blood-crusted arm trembling, her ribs aching from the safe house ambush, the USB's secrets, Governor Voss, Judge Crane, Councilman Edgar Holt still burning in her mind, and the city around her was a cauldron. Protests raging after her second live stream exposed the syndicate's elite, their resignations flooding news feeds. But Holt's shadow loomed largest. A puppet master Naya Wells had traced to this tower, and Selena's burns stung, her tactical gear soaked from the storm's remnants. But Malik's memory, his stolen life, fueled her, and Naya, her hacker ally, knelt beside her, laptop glowing, her voice a whisper. Holt's on the top floor, but security's military-grade cameras, guards, biometrics, and Marcus Kane, a wiry journalist with a camera slung over his shoulder. Joined them, his eyes fierce. "This is the scoop of the century. Royce, let's bury them." And Selena nodded, her knife strapped tight, her stolen pistol heavy, her resolve a blade, and Tara's mercenaries, 12 strong, fanned out, their silencers ready. But Selena's earpiece crackled with Tara's warning. "Drones spotted. They know we're here." And Selena's heart surged, the skyscraper a gauntlet. But she hissed, "We go now," leading the charge as Tara's team breached the side entrance, their flashbangs blinding guards, gunfire erupting, and Selena sprinted through smoke, her reflexes a blur, dodging bullets, her knife slashing a guard's thigh, his scream lost in the chaos. And Naya hacked the elevators, her laptop overriding locks, sending them to the penthouse, but a steel gate slammed shut, trapping Selena, Naya, and Marcus, and Holt's voice boomed over intercoms, cold, commanding, "You're persistent, Royce, but you're done." And Selena's blood chilled, recognizing not Holt but Judge Evelyn Crane, the woman whose name graced the USB, a syndicate mastermind who'd played innocent. And Crane's laugh was venom. You thought Holt was the end. I own this city. And Selena's mind raced. Crane's power explaining the cover-ups. Malik's death. And she smashed a control panel. Sparks flying. The gate creaking open. But guards swarmed. Their rifles blazing. And Selena fired. Dropping two. Her shots precise despite pain. And Marcus filmed. His camera streaming to Naya's network. The world watching as Selena fought. Her blood dripping. And Nia hacked Crane's servers. Pulling files orders to kill Malik. To frame Selena. To rig elections, and Selena roared. Stream it all. As Naya uploaded, the third live stream detonating. Crane's face, her crimes, flashing across millions of screens. Hashtags like #Crane exposed and #Syndicate falls trending. And the city erupted. Protesters storming City Hall, media vans racing to the tower, but Crane's guards pressed. A bullet grazing Selena's shoulder, blood soaking her gear, and she stumbled, her vision blurring. But Malik's voice echoed in her mind. Keep going, and she lunged, tackling a guard, her knife sinking into his arm, his gun hers, and she fired, clearing a path to the penthouse, where Crane stood. Her judicial robes a mockery, a pistol in hand, her eyes gleaming. You're a spark. Royce, but sparks die. And Selena dove as Crane fired, the bullet shattering a window, glass raining, and Selena tackled her, their bodies crashing through a glass table, shards cutting Selena's hands. But she pinned Crane, her knife at the judge's throat, demanding, who's above you? And Crane sneered, you'll never reach them. But Naya's voice crackled, got her files. Streaming now, and Crane's face paled, her empire crumbling. And Marcus's feed showed FBI helicopters circling, their spotlights piercing the tower. But syndicate reinforcements stormed the floor, their gunfire pinning Selena's team. And Tara's mercenaries fought back, their rifles a shield. But Selena dragged Crane to a window, the live stream capturing her confession. Coerced by the blade, I ordered Malik's hit. The syndicate runs deeper, and the admission broke the internet. Protests turning to riots, and Selena's team breached the penthouse. Tara cuffing Crane, but a sniper's bullet grazed Selena's side. Blood pouring, and she staggered, her knife falling, and Naya caught her, screaming, we're out! As Tara's team cleared an exit, their gunfire covering the retreat, and they escaped in a stolen van. The city a war zone, FBI agents raiding the tower. Crane arrested, but Selena's wound shoulder, side, hands bled heavily, her vision fading, and Naya's laptop showed the live stream's impact. Crane's fall trending, but Holt's name lingered, a phantom above Crane, and Selena rasped, he's next, as the van sped through Case, protesters cheering, media chasing, her blood a price, her fight a fire that wouldn't die. And she gripped Naya's hand, Malik's memory a vow, knowing the syndicate's deepest shadow was still out there. But her live stream had cracked their armor, and she'd hunt Holt, no matter the cost, her pain a fuel, her resolve a torch to burn their empire to nothing. A spotlight blazed in the packed courthouse, its glare pinning Selena Royce to the witness stand, her bandaged arm and bruised ribs a silent testament to the safe house ambush and skyscraper brawl. As the city's pulse thundered outside, thousands of protesters encircling the building, their chants for Malik's justice shaking the windows. And the courtroom buzzed, cameras live streaming to millions, the trial of Judge Evelyn Crane and the syndicate's remnants cops, politicians, fixers, a spectacle that gripped the nation. And Selena's eyes, dark and unyielding, swept the room, locking onto Crane, whose judicial robes were gone, her face a mask of defiance despite the cuffs, and Raymond Beckett, his police chief uniform replaced by a prison jumpsuit, his sneer dulled but venomous. And Selena's heart pounded, Malik's memory a fire that burned through her pain, her stolen USB's files murders, bribes, Malik's death now public. fueling the protests that had toppled Governor Voss and forced City Hall to act. And Nia Wells, her hacker ally, sat in the gallery, laptop humming, streaming the trial through her network, while Marcus Kane, the journalist, filmed beside her, his camera a weapon amplifying Selena's truth, and Tara's mercenaries, now her security detail, guarded the courthouse doors, their presence a warning to the syndicate's lingering shadows. But Selena's mind flickered to Councilman Edgar Holt, the phantom above Crane, still free, a threat Nia's hacks hadn't yet traced. And the judge, a grizzled veteran named Torres, banged his gavel, silencing the room, calling Selena to testify, and her voice was steel, recounting the night Malik died, framed by Beckett's orders, her badge stripped, her life shattered, and she held up the USB's printed files, each page a dagger, Crane's orders to kill Malik, Beckett's bribes, syndicate hits on dissenters, and the courtroom gasped, jurors leaning forward, Crane's face paling, and Selena's words cut deeper, detailing the fake badge network, the lives it crushed, her brothers among them, and the live stream trended. Hashtag Malik Royce and hashtag Syndicate trial flooding feeds. Millions watching as Selena's pain, her fury, became a nation's. And Crane's lawyer, a slick corporate shark, tried to discredit her, calling her a vengeful ex-cop. But Selena's evidence was iron. Her recorder from the mansion playing Beckett's confession. Malek was collateral, and the room erupted, protesters outside roaring, and Marcus's feed captured Crane's flinch, her composure cracking, and Selena's gaze burned, her voice breaking as she said, "They took my brother, but they can't take the truth." And the jury's faces hardened, Torres's gavel pounding. But a sudden scream pierced the courtroom. A syndicate loyalist, disguised as a bailiff, drew a gun, aiming at Selena, and Tara's team lunged, their tasers dropping him, his shot grazing a juror, chaos erupting. And Selena dove, her wounds screaming, shielding Nia as guards swarmed, and Crane's smirk flickered, a hint of a deeper plot, and Selena's instincts flared. Holt's absence a shadow, and as order returned, Torres called for Crane's testimony. But Selena interrupted, her voice a whip, demanding Crane confess, and the judge allowed it. The live stream rolling, and Crane, cornered, spat. The syndicate was order, your chaos. Royce, but under Selena's glare. The USB's files projected on screens her signatures. Her hits she broke, admitting, "I greenlit Malik's kill. Holt planned it," and the courtroom froze. Holt's name a bombshell, and Selena's heart clenched, her vengeance close but incomplete. And the jury deliberated. Their verdict, swift guilty for Crane. Beckett, 10 others, life sentences raining down, and the city exploded. Protests turning to celebrations. City Hall passing reforms, civilian oversight, defunded corruption units, retraining mandates, and Selena stepped down, her wounds throbbing, her soul torn, the crowd chanting her name. But in a quiet moment, Nia handed her a tablet, a leaked email from Holt, ordering her death, his location still dark, and Selena's mind churned. The courtroom a victory, but Holt's shadow a war, and she faced a choice: hunt him, blood for blood, or build, for Malik, for justice. And she chose the latter, her voice soft. No more revenge. We remake the system. And Marcus filmed her exit, the live stream showing her scars, her strength, millions inspired. And Tara's team escorted her through the crowd, protesters parting, their signs reading Malik lives. And Selena's eyes burned, not with tears but purpose. Holt's threat a storm she'd face, her evidence a torch, her fight a fire that had cracked the syndicate, but not ended it. And as the city cheered, she vowed to find Holt, to burn his empire, her pain a price, her resolve a weapon to forge a new order, Malik's legacy her guide. A single gunshot echoed in the night. its crack ricocheting off the rebuilt walls of Selena Royce's mansion, now a fortress of justice. As she stood in the grand parlor, her scars burns, bullet grazes, knife cuts a map of her war against the syndicate, and outside, the city hummed with a fragile hope, its streets quieter after Judge Evelyn Crane's conviction, Raymond Beckett's life sentence, and the sweeping reform civilian oversight, defunded corruption units that had reshaped the police. But Selena's eyes, dark and resolute, fixed on a cracked mirror, reflecting her bloodied past, Malik's memory of fire that never dimmed, and the USB's secrets, now public, had toppled titans. But Councilman Edgar Holt, the syndicate's unseen master, remained a phantom, his shadow haunting her, and she clutched a new file. Nia Wells's latest hack, hinting at Holt's retreat to a shadow network beyond the city and the parlor, once a battlefield of shattered glass and gunfire, was now the heart of the Malik Justice Foundation, its walls lined with photos of young activists, their faces black, Latino, Asian, white united by Selena's vision, and Tara, her lead mercenary, now her security chief, trained them in a rebuilt West Wing, her drills sharp, her scars a mirror of Selena's. While Marcus Kane, the journalist, documented their rise, his articles making the foundation a national beacon, and Nia's drones, once weapons of vengeance, now monitored the city, her laptop a sentinel. But Selena's heart raced, a late-night text from Nia flashing, Holt's active, funding a new syndicate cell, and the gunshot outside wasn't random a warning, a syndicate sniper testing her defenses, and Tara's voice crackled through the earpiece. Perimeter secure, one down. The sniper's body had already gone. A message delivered, and Selena's mind churned. Holt's threat a storm, but she'd faced worse. And she gathered her team, Nia, Marcus, Tara, and 20 young trainees. The Malik scholars, their eyes fierce, ready to fight corruption. And Selena spoke, her voice a blade. We build, we train, we end this. Unveiling the foundation's mission to millions via a live stream, the city watching as she stood in her gown, no longer sequined but black silk, a symbol of rebirth. And she declared, for Malik, for justice. We set the rules, her words trending. Had Malik, justice, and hashtag new rules flooding feeds. And the city responded. Thousands rallying at City Hall, their signs reading Malik lives, and reforms deepened independent prosecutors, community patrols fueled by Selena's fire. But Nia's tablet pinged a decrypted syndicate email from Holt, ordering a hit on the foundation, his location a coded vault, and Selena's scars ached, her wounds from the safe house, skyscraper, and courthouse of Price. But she chose strategy over rage, her undercover days teaching her patience, and she tasked Nia with cracking the code, Tara with fortifying the mansion, and Marcus with leaking Holt's email to the FBI, their teamwork a machine. And Selena led the scholars to a training ground, once the mansion's burned wing, now a dojo, teaching them to fight, to think, to expose. Her voice steady, you're the future, not their pawns. And a young trainee, Aisha, echoed Malik's fire, vowing to lead, and Selena's heart swelled, her brother's legacy alive. But a second gunshot rang out, closer, a sniper's bullet shattering a window, and Tara's team swept the grounds, finding only a syndicate insignia, Holt's calling card, and Selena's pulse spiked, her knife drawn, her pistol ready, but she stood firm, the live stream still rolling, millions seeing her defiance. And she spoke, they can't stop us. As Nia hacked Holt's vault, a location flashing offshore, untouchable, and Selena's eyes burned, knowing Holt was the final piece, and she planned a hunt, but not alone. Her scholars, her army, and the city's reforms solidified, a civilian board sworn in, Corruption budget slashed, and Selena stood in the parlor, mirrors reflecting her scars, her strength, and she whispered, "My turn to set the rules." The words of vow, the live stream ending with her silhouette, millions inspired, and Marcus's final article, "The woman who remade justice," crowned her a legend. But Selena shunned fame, her gaze on the horizon. Holt's shadow a challenge, and Tara reported, "We're ready," as Aisha led the scholars in a chant for Malik, and Selena's scars were her armor, her fight a fire, the foundation her legacy. But Naya's last hack revealed a syndicate cell stirring, Holt's hand behind it, and Selena gripped her knife. The city's lights a battlefield, her resolve a torch, knowing the war wasn't over. But her rules would shape its end, Malik's justice her guide, her pain a fuel to burn the syndicate's last embers. No matter the cost, the war isn't over. Selena's fight lit the way, but your support keeps it burning. Like, subscribe, and share to fuel the movement.